right there's the new Lone Peak 3.5. Very similar to the 3.0, but there's some pretty cool differences here. And I'm gonna go run around on the Timberline Trail and Pacific Crest Trail and see what I think about them. You can see they're totally fresh, not a speck of dirt on them yet. I'm gonna go change that here shortly. The Altra Lone Peak. Do I love it more than I love bananas? Hard to say. What up, YouTube? Shoe review. You remember I just recently did a shoe review on the Altra 3.0. Now we have the 3.5. This is the new Altra Lone Peak that just came out. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the similarities and the differences between these two. There are a lot of similarities, but also a few differences. So moving right in, similarities. You have the same stack height. It's still the 25mm stack all the way across the bottom. You have a rock plate. You have the foot-shaped toe box. Or in the sole here, you have that Max Track outsole. So that's the hexagonal lugs. And this is a good feature. I really like this on the 3.0, so I'm glad they kept this with the 3.5. But there's a few differences. So, three main differences. The upper. The new 3.5 has a stretchier fabric for the upper here. So I found that pretty noticeable when I first started wearing these to run and hike, that it gives a little bit more. So fans of the wider toe box, the more foot-shaped style, will probably like the 3.5 better than the 3.0. And also want to touch base here real quick and talk about, people think that the Lone Peak is getting narrower, and it's not really getting narrower so much as they're building up on this toe area with this synthetic leather material. So they're making it more durable. So the previous models, the 2.5, the 2.0, and lower numbers, they didn't have this beefy, built-up material around there. And so a lot of times your pinky toe would end up getting a hole right here. And they put this material here to stop that from happening. So you're increasing the longevity of the shoe. But what that does is it doesn't let the mesh stretch as much, so it feels narrower. But it's actually the same last. They're not shrinking the shoe, they're just making it stronger by putting this, I believe it's called a rand or a toe bumper. So I'm a fan of that, even if it does give me a little bit less stretch in the shoe, it's making the shoe last longer. And I like to go out and hike for 3 to 4 months, doing 2,600 miles at a time. I don't want to burn through 8 pairs of shoes because I'm only getting 300 to 400 miles out of a pair. I want to be able to get 500, 600, 700 miles out of a pair, and things like that would allow me to do that. So moving right along, the gaiter system is a little bit different as well. So what's the same is in the rear you have that Velcro, and the front you have the D-ring right there. So that's the 2 points of contact. If you're using Dirty Girl gaiters or Ultra gaiters, you're already familiar with that. There's a hook in your gaiters that attaches to that D-ring up in the front, and then the Velcro attaches to the back. So with this new 3.5, there's 2 additional points of contact for gaiters, and Altra is making new gaiters that will work with this shoe. They're not quite out yet on their website, but a little bird told me that they're coming right around the corner, so be patient. But if you look on the side here, right there, see it's where it says Gator Trap? You guessed it. That's for the new gaiters. They're a little, you can see I get my finger in there, so it's a little piece of material that will allow hooks to be attached. There's one on that side, there's one on that side. So now you have 4 points of contact for your gaiter. You have the Velcro in the back, the 2 new side gaiter traps, and then the D-ring up front. What that's going to do is, if you've worn gaiters in the past, you know, they will slowly ride up, especially if you're stepping down in snow or mud, and then eventually your gaiter now makes a gap from the bottom of the gaiter and the top of the shoe, where rocks and debris and dirt and dust, or maybe even M&Ms if you eat your food like a crazy person, but it'll get dropped in there. With the new gaiter trap, that should hold the gaiter down and prevent it from sliding up as you're going through the mud or the snow or what have you. So I think that's a pretty good improvement, especially if you like gaiters. And the third major difference, right here, you can see across the front, there are 4 holes, drainage holes. So if you're crossing a creek and you're getting the inside of the shoe sloppy wet, the drainage holes will allow moisture to come out. So on the 3.0 and previous models, you just had to wait for if it got wet, if you crossed a stream or a creek, you had to wait for everything to evaporate off the top. So now those holes, that should let the water come out a little bit quicker. I can't speak from experience because I didn't actually wear this in a creek, but I have about 50 miles of trail running in this model right here, and yeah, I can vouch that it feels exactly like the 3.0 as far as fit, without, you know, maybe a little bit more stretch up here. And to address my lacing pattern, someone in another video had asked me to show that a little bit better. You can see I skip the first couple of holes, and that allows the upper to stretch even more than normal, which you can do on any shoe, not just Altra, obviously, but that's just a little trick that I've used over the years. But there you go, the Lone Peak 3.5, very, very, very similar to the 3.0, almost the exact same shoe, with the key differences being the gaiter trap system, the stretchier mesh, and the drainage holes up front. So if you liked the 3.0, you'll definitely like the 3.5. And if you didn't like either one of those, I don't know what to tell you. I can't imagine not liking these shoes. I love them so much. And that is the end of my review, and my really awkward ending of it, because I'm still getting used to the YouTube videos. Thanks for your patience.